Welcome back to Racer X Illustrated. My name is Donnie Southers, and this is Philadelphia by the numbers. The last time we raced in the city of brotherly love was 1980, making it 43 years between since we were here last. This breaks the record previously held by Foxborough, which held a race in 1991 before returning to the schedule all the way in 2015. A quick moment to recognize those making their first mains of the year in round 15. In the 250 class, we had two, both with their own level of significance. Five-time Arena Cross champion Kyle Peters made it straight through the first heat race, finishing 12th in the main event, and Texas native Crockett Myers made his first ever main event in his third ever attempt, putting the 413 into the main with a third place transfer from the LCQ before going on to finish 20th in the main. 450 side Kevin Moranz finally gets his spot on the main event gate this season, becoming the 46th different 450 rider to make a main event in 2024. Just like Myers, the 62 also finished third in the LCQ before going on to finish 20th in the main event. Let's move to the front of the field. Jett Lawrence netted his 7th win of the season, another convincing wire-to-wire win where he never really felt in danger. That 7th win moves him ahead of Ryan Dungey for third all-time wins during a rookie campaign, just one behind Chad Reed, who had 8 in 2003, although Reed did not win that title. At this point, Jett will have to settle for the second best rookie season of all time. Even if he does wrap up the title, the best he can do at this point is 9 wins on the season in 17 rounds, while Jeremy McGrath won 10 back in 1993 when the series was only 16 rounds long. It is worth noting, however, that the King did have a head start. Many forget that he raced 6 rounds of Supercross in the Premier class in 1992, and it is up to you to compare that to Jett moving up for outdoors in 2023. But it was Chase Sexton that had the fastest lap of the race, a blistering 51.795 in the 6th lap of the main event, a full half a second faster than any other lap put down in that main event, and 2 seconds faster than the average lap time of the cumulative top 5. Sexton only had 2 of the top 15 laps, however, with Jett again winning with a consistent speed the others have not managed to match, posting 5 of the top 10 lap times and 7 of the top 20. Behind the 18, it looked like Webb had another second place finish locked up after getting by Eli in the opening minutes, but it was not meant to be. The number 2 was caught and passed by both Chase Sexton on the 16th lap around the circuit and by Jason Anderson on the final corner of the main event. After years of Webb's brand being a predator that stalks his prey late into the race before striking at the last minute, it is strange to see the number 2 go backwards. Webb was second fastest behind Jett in the opening sprint, third fastest during the pace-setting portion of the main, fourth fastest down the stretch, and the slowest of the top 5 in the final 3 laps, although that is skewed a bit by his last corner tip-over. Alternatively, it was Sexton and Anderson playing the Webb role in Philadelphia. Sexton improved from third to second to first as the race went on, and Anderson, who was the slowest in the top 5 in the opening 5 laps, finished a full second a lap faster than the next closest competitor. Where Webb's race really fell apart was lap 16 and 17, where he had 2 consecutive lap times in the 55s, while the rest of the top 5 were well under that mark. Jason Anderson made up almost 3.5 seconds on the 2-time champ in those 2 laps alone, and from there, El Hombre was faster in 5 of the final 6 laps of that main event. With a 5th place finish on the night, Eli Tomac closes the gap on Jeremy McGrath for 3rd all-time in Premier Class points, now sitting just 15 back on the King. Jason Anderson collected his 132nd top 10 this weekend, moving him past Ken Roczen for 9th all-time in 450 SX top 10s. The 250 class featured one of the best main events of the year, with our 2 title hopefuls both getting equally ordinary starts and working their way through the field, while 3 underdogs battled it out for the podium steps for the bulk of the contest. Hayden Deegan seemed to have the most pace, but not by much. He held 6 of the fastest 20 laps on the night, while his title rival Tom Vialle had 5 and race winner Max Anstie also 5. The early race was a duel between Pro Circuit Kawasaki's Seth Hammaker and Firepower Honda's Max Anstie, who both got a great jump out of the gate, coming across the stripe 1-2. Seth led Max for 11 laps before Max finally got around him on his way to his 2nd career Supercross main event win. Max did most of his damage in segment 5, which was the whoop section in bull turn leading to the finish. Max was a cumulative 6.3 seconds faster than the 43 in that section over the course of those first 11 laps of the main event, an average of over half a second a lap. From there, Seth had less time to worry about keeping up with Max and more concern with the charging Jalek Swoll. Over the next 4.5 laps before they collide, their time in 4 of the 5 sectors were nearly identical, with margins of less than 0.06 seconds per section per lap. But segment 4, which was comprised of the Supercross triple, sand section, and cutting across the start straight, saw Jalek make up almost 0.2 a lap, and it is no surprise that is also the section that the Triumph factory rider made his attempt on Seth in the closing laps that caused both of them to go down. Our 2 title fighters couldn't have been closer on paper. Tom Vialle took second over Deegan's third, expanding his points lead to 15 heading into the finale. The 16 did what he needed to do today, starting in front of Deegan and maintaining that lead. From the end of the first lap on, Vialle was a grand total of 0.198 seconds faster than Danger Boy, ultimately winning by 1.7 seconds. Of the pair's 34 combined laps turned in the main event, Deegan had 8 of the fastest 13, but he also had 6 of the slowest 9, clearly having more raw pace, but also having either more mistakes, a harder time navigating and dealing with traffic. As far as the titles go, they are far from over. 15 points is a large deficit in the 250 class, but it does not mean much if a DNF comes into play, and that happens more often than you might realize. Since switching to the showdown finale counting for championship points, the red plate holder coming in has lost the title twice. Once in 2017 with Jordan Smith's DNF leaving the door open for the Osborne-Savacci special, and again in 2019 with Adam Cianciarulo refusing to quit after a mid-race mistake, but ultimately losing the title with bars too bent to make a difference. And don't forget, the West is still very much up for grabs, so plenty of room for spoilers when we see these guys again in 2 weeks. Thanks for watching Racer X by the Numbers. Be sure to visit racerxonline.com for all of your motocross and supercross news.